Hi there, welcome to this week's video where we look at normal horse health parameters. One of the things as a horse owner that's really important is to be able to work out is what your horse's normal is. It's really hard to find out if your horse is varying from that unless you know their normal health parameters. If your horse is feeling a little bit off or not performing well or just looks a bit down in the paddock, one of the best ways to work out is there's something really important going on is to check their temperature, respiration rate and heart rate, etc. But it's also important that you keep a history of this so that you know that this is what is normal to your horse. This kind of information can be really helpful to a vet in a time of emergency or just sometimes when your horse isn't feeling quite right. One of the first parameters that it's important to test is their temperature. A horse's temperature can tell you whether there's an infection going on, whether something else is happening, and we normally take the horse's temperature rectally. A normal horse temperature is between about 37.5 and 38.5, roughly. Once the temperature gets to about 39, there could well be something going on with your horse that you may need to speak to your vet about. Sometimes slightly lower temperatures simply mean that you've got the thermometer in a bit of feces about to come out. Respiration rate is another parameter that we look at, and a normal respiration rate is between 8 and 16 breaths per minute. We look at these by either looking at the flank, the movement of the horse's flank, or the flaring of their nostrils. This one can be a little bit variable because, as we know, as soon as a horse gets a little bit stressed, it could even be by you taking his parameters, they breathe faster, but it's also fairly important to know again what is normal for your horse. It's really important that you know how to get your horse's heart rate. This can either be done through a trusty stethoscope. I think every horse owner should have one of those. They're very cheap from your local chemist. To be able to take your horse's heart rate. If you don't have one of those, finding a pulse is another way to do that. Heart rate is a great indicator of pain on the horse. Of course, it can also be an indicator that they've just run around a lot in the paddock, so you have to be a bit mindful of that. Horses' heart rates are normally between about 25 and 40 beats per minute, and horses can vary in this too. So it really is important to know your horse's normal heart rate after exercise, how quickly it can come down to resting heart rate after you've exercised, and whether it rises briefly when you bring it in. Heart rate can be a sign of pain if you're looking at early colic, and this information is really good information to give to your vet. Another easy parameter to check is a capillary refill time. This allows us to check on the circulation of the horse, and to do this, you press firmly into the gum of the horse until it goes pale and count how long it does take for that colour to come back into the horse's gum, and it should be under 2 seconds. Checking your horse for dehydration is also very important. If you grab a pinch of skin and twist it, you need to count how long does it take for that skin fold to go back to its normal position. In a normal horse, this skin fold should return really quite quickly back to normal. If it stays pinched for any period of time, your horse could well be dehydrated. Gut sounds. Super important if you're suspecting colic, and again, this trusty stethoscope will help you in this. Listening in the flank to your horse's gut sounds and know what is normal for your horse. A lack of gut sounds is not normal and can sometimes indicate colic. Some other simple things to observe is your horse's urine and feces to see whether they're normal and what is normal for them. If your urine changes colour, it can be a sign of dehydration or something else going on in the horse. So always keep a bit of an eye on this, and so that you know, has your horse changed from its normal. So start a diary at home, and every now and then, even every month, bring your horse in and take all of their parameters so that you have a bit of a history of their normal, and it makes it a lot easier to work out when they're not normal. This information again can always be really helpful to your vet if needed. Thanks for watching the video. If you find this useful, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week.